What's up, YouTube? We're back with another video. This time we're going to be reviewing and genuinely trying to place all the items within the Warbond into my existing tier list. My main goal for this is to list the item, how it performs, kind of like some unique things, and then try to place them in bugs, bots, illuminate, like the letter rating I would basically give it in a tier list. This is kind of like the initial thoughts, and it might change over time, but let's get into it. So control group, as far as like the theming, I think it's fantastic. It's like we stole the technology from the Illuminates. I think it's great. It actually looks really cool. The armor, pause and read it if you would like. But basically, you get revived as long as you haven't lost any of your limbs. If you take a large amount of damage in this game, especially from explosives, limbs will pop off. You won't get revived. When you do get revived, your screen kind of goes reddish gray, and also like you have muffled sound, and your health will start going down, kind of like the new bleeding mechanic. It's fast. You'll only survive maybe like less than 10 seconds before you die, but you can keep popping stims. People can stim pistol you and keep you alive if you choose to. My problem with this part of armor though is that you are slowed as if your leg is broken, but it's not actually broken, which makes it a bit annoying to use. I would have preferred that like it's almost like an adrenaline shot, so you get like super speed for that time that you are in this state, because you are going to eventually die because you don't have enough stims. But it would have been nice if it like procced and then you get something out of it. That's actually kind of cool. The second effect would be stims last 2 seconds longer, just like medic armor, and the 50% arc resistance. Stim effect, that's good, solid, especially for this armor, but the 50% arc resistance is not particularly nice. It only helps you against like certain like things like grenade damage, and like if you don't get headshot by Teslas, maybe if you're wearing heavy armor. If you're wearing light armor, it literally does no effect. You're still gonna get one shot by most arc stuff. It should probably be closer to 75%, maybe not the full 95%, but like at least 75% would make, I think, a larger difference, because arc damage is very high in this game, so you're just gonna get one shot so often. As far as the armor overall, it's okay. It's probably like a 6 out of 10, like C plus B minus kind of thing. It's very fun, but you're just too vulnerable after you get shot. The cool factor is there, but it's not super effective. It is what it is. The weapon, the variable, the way I've been describing to people on stream is it kind of feels like a tenderizer, but with like way more modes to use. So it's got like fire rate increases or decreases. So you can go 300 fire rate, 550 is the default, or 750. And then also you have auto, volley, and total. So auto is like a standard auto rifle. It's 49 rounds capacity, like next to no recoil. It feels good. Volley is kind of like a slug shotgun. It fires 7 bullets at the same time. So it's like 85 damage light pen times 7. And then total is all 49 bullets all at the same time, which is actually insane. If you're standing upright, you'll be knocked to the ground. If you shoot straight down, you'll be knocked upwards. Pretty funny. But if you prone, there's no knockback. So if you're ever going to fire it, highly recommend proning immediately, do a quick drop shot and then stand up again. Reload, very respectable, quite fast. And just overall, I've been really enjoying this. It definitely requires more accuracy because it is light pen, not medium pen. And there isn't much stagger on it. So you're definitely hoping you kill the thing before it gets to you. But because of like the damage output of it, typically the thing does die before it gets to you. Maybe would like to see stagger on the volley and maybe medium pen on the total shot, just because there's so much mass going down range. But overall, I like it. On bugs, it felt maybe the weakest just because the handling is quite bad on it, I will say. So swapping direction does feel a bit cumbersome. You can change the scope to hopefully get a little bit more ergonomics, but you're sitting at 25 or so ergonomics at best, not the best. So on bugs, it's probably the weakest, maybe like a B plus rating. It's solid. It's definitely better than like regular Liberator and stuff like that. And it does some unique things like one-shotting a Hulk from behind or two-shotting a Charger from behind and stuff like that, which is pretty useful, but it will feel a bit sluggish at times. On bots, it felt like an A minus, probably somewhere in that range. It felt good, but I would probably struggle to give it higher rating just because light pen tends to be a little bit harder to use, even though they have been swapping things around. Maybe over time, I'll bump it up depending on what we find as far as like good ways to use it. It can be incredibly useful versus Hulks if you manage to get that flanking shot, one-shotting them. That's pretty sick, and it can save you some ammo or a thermite. On Illuminate, it had a tougher time, I feel like, existing. The total shot felt okay versus the flesh mobs. I believe it was like like 3 or 4 total shots, but that's a lot of your ammunition. So it didn't obviously do crazy damage because it doesn't do explosive damage. It would probably be somewhere in like the A- range on Illuminate. It was quite accurate, obviously, for dealing with overseers, but it obviously can't do anything against a harvester, which, you know, immediately like drops to some points. So it is what it is. For the epoch, this one's a bit of a mixed bag. On paper, it's actually pretty cool. It's got an unsafe only mode. It's got a 3-round magazine, and it's 4 reloads in total. So 15 total shots. And it's got like 2 modes that it swaps between as it gets more and more charged. So you will hear it kind of like start charging. You can't fire it. And then it is able to be fired. It fires a Pen 4 shot with very little explosive. It almost looks like a purifier shot. It doesn't perform really well at all in that mode, and I almost don't recommend going for it. But if you hold it for another second or so, you'll hear an alarm blare. And if you wait about another half second, if you fire it, it will fire a Pen 5 projectile that has a rather large explosion and can actually do some really good damage versus enemies. Because of that alarm next to me, I couldn't hear the alarm of me firing. No! Now, the downside of this weapon is that it has pretty bad accuracy. It's really weird, especially when the weapon already has only about 150 meter range on it. But it sounds like the devs are already aware of our feedback on that and they want to change it and make it more accurate. So fingers crossed on that. But I do like it. As far as killing ability, 2 shots to a Bile Titan's head, 6 shots on average to a Factory Strider. It can 1-shot a Hulk in the eye, but you need to hit the eye. It 2 shots a Fabricator. It cannot blow up a bug nest, unfortunately. It 2 shots a Charger on average around the head, but you can 1-shot their butt. You can 1-shot an Impaler if you shoot towards the upper part of their forehead. Obviously, it's blowing up a lot of like lower tier enemies. The new War Strider, 2 shots to the leg, it'll destroy, or the crotch area. It doesn't do anything against drop ships. I wouldn't recommend shooting it versus Illuminate ships. Flesh mobs, I would say 2 shots and then swap to a primary to finish it off, because the 3rd shot is like very overkill. But yeah, overall, Epoch feels like it's like somewhere in the B+ range on like all the factions, maybe Illuminate a little bit lower at B. I do think though that across the board, all of the factions would get significantly better when it gets more accurate. When it works great, but when it doesn't, you're just like, this is frustrating. Sniping a Bile Titan in the head is pretty fast, honestly, because the charge is not that long and you can get that 2nd shot off really fast because you don't have to wait for a cooldown. Don't have to reload because you have 3 shots in the magazine. Not bad. It did feel a little bit annoying have to drop the shield, then swap to your epoch, then fire at a harvester, but you can get a 1-shot on it like the center eye. But I did get a lot of 2 shots on harvesters if you didn't hit that center eye, so keep that in mind. Laser turret, bit disappointing. Comes in at 128 seconds. That is the exact same as the Gatling Sentry. It is Pen 4, so heavy pen, so it is better than the Gatling Sentry in that regard, but it only has 25 seconds of fire time, which kind of blows at times. I do think that is quite nice because it has a limited ammo. So if you play on a lower difficulty, your turret will have time to cool down between like killing things. But on the harder difficulties, it's basically constantly firing the entire time. So it really struggles to not just blow itself up after 25 seconds of firing. And it can do pretty good in those 25 seconds. It will wipe out a decent amount of bots and stuff like that, but it doesn't feel as good as a Gatling Sentry or Machine Gun Sentry. If you give it time to cool down, the infinite ammo starts to play a factor and starts to like pull ahead. But because it just doesn't fire that long, it feels kind of lackluster. The explosion, I had a teammate like stand next to it and it exploded. Doesn't seem to do that much damage or have that much AoE. The Pen 4 is useful, but it doesn't aim at weak points. It aims at like the center mass. So like a Hulk, unless you get the perfect like angle for your turret versus the Hulk, it won't shoot the eye. So the kill time is like 7 or 8 seconds. You can kind of see it trying to hit the eye in this particular clip, but they're also showing in this clip, one of the downsides on bots is that it can't penetrate the shield of a Devastator. So sometimes it just wastes like 10 seconds of its 25 seconds live time just firing at an enemy it can't even kill, aka the Devastator. And because it won't always aim at the eye of a Hulk, the kill time is like 8 seconds, I think. Pretty good, but lackluster. I'm hoping it gets more fire time in the future so it's more usable on the higher difficulties, and maybe smarter aiming, especially on like heavy Devastators, would be nice. Overall, probably B tier across the board on all the factions. Little lackluster, but not terrible. I just wish it was a little bit better. Like push it into the A. ways. The arc nade is a surprising one. In the trailer, we saw it blow up once and that was it. But it does a lot more than that. It's like a bouncing grenade in some games where it explodes, it bounces, explodes, bounces, and it does that 5 times. Well, it explodes 5 times. It bounces 4 times. And the damage on it is very respectable. One of the most eye-opening spots was when I threw 2 under a charger and then they started exploding. It stunned the charger and then killed it by the end of the grenade. Now, there's a little bit of RNG on whether or not the nades stay close to the charger to keep stunning it and like doing damage, but I was able to do it quite a few times in that mission. It does a good amount of stun versus enemies in general, so it seems like just a straight up upgrade to the stun grenade. Then on top of that, as far as like damage, it was very respectable. Bug though with it, there is a bug. It does not show your kill count. It's completely bugged. Like if it gets kills, it doesn't show you your kills, and it won't show at the end of the match either. So just a heads up on that, but it is better than you think it is because you might notice it's not getting any kills, but it is. I liked it. It does not blow up fabricators. It does not blow up bug holes. So you're going to have to bring a grenade pistol or something to deal with that. But as far as like utility versus damage, it was nice. And the fact that it has pen 4 as well, you have good armor penetration, it felt good. I'd say overall, it's probably like an A- across the board. You know, probably losing some power versus like the Illuminant, bringing it down maybe to B+ on that, just because flesh mobs can't really be stunned after they get enraged. And then the arc is like not as powerful versus that faction in general. Very impressed. Way happier than I thought it was going to be for this after watching that trailer. Warpack, the star of the show, is extremely fun. I'd say for movement people, it's S tier. I love this thing. You can reliably warp every like 5 to 6 seconds without hurting yourself, because the mechanic of it is that you warp the first time, nothing happens. You teleport forward 10 meters and you explode, and you know, that's the end of it. If you warp again immediately, a couple different things could happen. You can just take damage, you can take damage and break a limb, or you can take damage and be set on fire. So a little bit riskier if you want to do the double. If you teleport another time, you'll notice the backpack on the top will go red. And if you teleport one more time, like that third time, you just blow up. For the most part, you should mostly just let it cool down. That's what worked for me the best, is like you teleport, you wait a couple seconds, teleport, wait a couple seconds, and you'll know the timing because in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the bar for your backpack, but also the visual on the back will go from yellow to purple again, and then you can teleport safely. You can teleport through enemies, you can teleport through objects. As long as the object is not big enough, you know, you can teleport straight through it. Charger's running at you, you just teleport through them. It's super cool. You turn around and shoot him in the butt immediately. It's awesome. Very fun. The damage on it is pretty respectable, but the radius is very low. One little fun fact though, I was able to kill a mortar side objective on a bot mission because the AoE seems to be pen 4, surprisingly. So you can blow those up. Didn't think that would be the case, but you can. I think I teleported next to it like 3 or 4 times and it blew up. Fabricators you can't blow up. You can blow up a bug nest if you teleport into it. I did do that. And this will be somewhat meta for SC farming. You can teleport into bunkers and get the loot now. This just happened on the, like, I think the Tuesday patch. It used to be if you got inside the bunkers, if you use like the FRV, like backing it up into the door and getting out, you used to be able to get into the bunkers, and you've been able to do that for a long time. But unless you hit both of the buttons, you couldn't actually loot anything inside. But with this, you just teleport in and grab the loot, teleport out. It's pretty funny. Just make sure you're not too close to the door. You want to be stepped back a little bit so you actually teleport in. If you're too close to the door, it just doesn't let you teleport. I used it more for mobility rather than aggression, but it was like super fun. One final thing, you can use it as like a dodge frame, similar to like Dark Souls, because while you're teleporting, it seems like you're basically immune to all damage. So what you can do is, like, if there's a 500 kg happening next to you, if you time it right, you can survive things. So it's actually pretty nice if you're looking for that kind of like dodge oriented gameplay. As far as like usability, this one will vary depending on how you feel about mobility in the game in general. I typically put mobility options around B tier, but if you love mobility, and I will be using this a lot, this could easily be an S tier for you, depending on the faction, especially on bugs for chargers. So this one's just a kind of a question mark slash, like, just put it in B tier. And then depending on how much you like mobility or don't like mobility, you can kind of orientate it yourself. It is good, and it's definitely the gem of this Warbond. I highly recommend checking it out. It is very fun. Oh, one final thing. Sometimes you can warp up onto things if you're in front of them. But like some of the Seaf buildings in the towns, you can just teleport on top of the roof if you're looking towards it. Also, you can't warp inside like rocks and stuff like that. So if you can't make it to the other side of a rock, it'll just like teleport you in place. And you can teleport while prone if you're stuck somewhere. So if you get like stuck inside a Bile Titan body with this on, or like a Hulk body, you can just teleport yourself out, because it definitely sucks when you have to just like sit there, wait, or like have a teammate like ragdoll you out. You can just teleport out, which is pretty cool. My overall thoughts on the Warbond are good, but needs improvement. Most Warbonds in this game are like lukewarm when they come out. Not all of them shine super bright, and this is no exception to that. I would say it's like 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10, depending on how you feel about the warp pack. But I think if they like address like the epoch's like accuracy issue, if maybe they touch the Adreno defibrillator buff a little bit, I think it could get a lot better. The laser sentry could get a lot better, honestly, with just a little more fire time. So this will definitely be one of those Warbonds to look out for as getting better over time, and watch the patches for it. I'll keep you guys up to date though. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please consider leaving a like and coming by the stream and talking to me about the stuff. I stream on both Twitch and YouTube every day but Mondays, nice and early in the morning for EU and NA individuals. Much love. Peace out, everybody. Peace.